Welcome to the AI Care Agent's 24/7 AI Governance Learning Pathway. We're in a cornerstone module here, laying down the absolute groundwork for your AI journey. Specifically, welcome to Inspection 3. We're going to look at exactly what happens after you identify vulnerabilities in your AI systems, and, more importantly, how to systematically ensure they actually get fixed. But hey, before we dive into the nuts and bolts of remediation, let's just anchor ourselves to our core mission for a second. We're a California nonprofit, and we are totally dedicated to building a practical, community-focused pathway. Our entire goal? Moving nonprofits, legal aid organizations, and clinics from a state of total confusion regarding AI risk straight into governed, confident action. It's really all about taking the highly complex and making it actually actionable for the communities that need it most.
So let's dive right into the core question. Once your gap assessment or internal audit reveals weaknesses, how do you actually fix them? I mean, it's one thing to run an audit and point out everything that's broken, right? That alone can be, honestly, pretty anxiety-inducing for a team staring at a fresh list of vulnerabilities. But identifying the problem is literally just step one. Today we cover remediation planning and tracking to help transition your team from just finding problems to actively solving them.
Because, there's a dangerous trap that almost every organization falls into at some point. The audit report gets generated, the executives or the board sign off on it, everyone breathes a huge sigh of relief that the audit is finally over, and then nothing happens. Crickets. The momentum just completely dies. Accountability often vanishes the second that report is signed simply because the findings just stay on paper. We've got to break that cycle, and that is exactly what remediation planning is designed to prevent.
All right, moving on to fixing your audit weaknesses, from findings to action. Let's look at the actual mechanics of bridging that gap.
We absolutely need a reliable way to translate those static audit reports into real momentum. So we will show you how to turn your findings into smart remediation tasks. Instead of, some vague bullet point in a 70-page document that just says improve data privacy. We're creating actionable, tracked assignments. These are derived directly from your audit findings, and they're engineered to systematically resolve those vulnerabilities, step by step.
Let's break down what makes these tasks smart. For a remediation task to be effective, it must come complete with assigned owners, strict deadlines, and clear verification steps. In the context of AI governance, an assigned owner means one specific engineer or compliance officer is on the hook for a vulnerability, like updating an LLM's data privacy policy. Strict deadlines guarantee that an exposed API or a potentially biased algorithm doesn't just sit there unchecked. And those clear verification steps, they give us a measurable way to prove the AI model is actually secure. We aren't just guessing anymore. We know exactly what done looks like.
Next up, smart tasks and Kanban boards, visualizing your remediation workflow. Now that our tasks are structured, how do we actually track them effectively? Let's see how this builds into our daily workflow. You really need a system that everyone can interact with, and the Kanban remediation board is the ultimate tool for this. It ensures every single identified risk is actively managed until it is fully resolved. By visualizing the work, you're taking it out of those hidden spreadsheets and putting it front and center for the whole team to rally around. On your screen is a Kanban remediation board. This visual workflow moves each finding from to-do to in progress to verified. It ensures that accountability doesn't vanish once the audit report is signed, making sure that every identified risk is actively managed until it is resolved. When a task is in to-do, it's queued up. When an owner pulls it into in progress, they're actively working against those strict deadlines. And it only reaches verified once those clear verification steps we just talked about are fully met. Okay, let's head into next steps and practical outputs, closing the gaps. It is time to take this framework and put it directly into your own hands. Because we don't just want to talk about theory here, we want to give you the actual tools for governed action. To keep your team on track and ensure every single gap is closed, download the Remediation Tracker. Make sure to check this explainer's description below to grab today's practical output. This tracker is pre-built to help you immediately start assigning owners, setting deadlines, and tracking your progress across that visual Kanban workflow we just explored. Thanks so much for joining us for this module. You're taking some really vital steps towards securing and governing your organization's use of AI. After you've grabbed your tracker, please proceed to the next explainer in the pathway to continue building your AI governance foundation. Remember, every module builds on the last, strengthening your overall posture. To wrap things up, I want to leave you with a provocative thought. Now that you have the tools, the tracker, and a solid understanding of smart tasks, what is the very first gap your team will move to in progress today?
Don't wait for next week. Open up that audit report, pick just one finding, assign an owner, give it a deadline, and get it on the board. That is how you move from confusion to governed action. I'll see you in the next explainer.